Were these picnic tables, did they exist, or were they in the area before the shack was last year?
Well, I think as part of the redevelopment effort, they poured in shell there so that the picnic tables could be put in there. It was not.
It wasn't connected to the shack?
No, no. This is not, I mean, they put the picnic tables where they, where they want to.
But I mean, they weren't put there for the shack?
No.
They were there for the voters?
Right, but it'll be used, I mean, in practicality, it'll be used. If the hours are extended, they will be used in the evening. And people will bring wine, even though it may not be allowed, but it's Jamestown, they're voters, they're Jamestowners, they'll bring their wine and whatever. My personal thought. So I've talked to the owners a couple of times about moving the tables. And they don't have to, so they wouldn't.
Are you putting a fence up?
I could build, there is a small fence there now that's about this high.
Like blocking view or something?
Yeah, but it's not going to be the noise. It's a bummer.
Can I just address something since you
can speak after.
okay, fine.
You have no problem with the boats being there?
That's winter storage. In the past, with Fred Lawrence, the deal was they'd be the first boats to be taken out. So that, but that, it's winter storage. They need the spaces with the boats. We've always said that's okay.
Do you have a concern with the request to open up earlier?
No, I'd be okay with that. I mean, the shack is, everybody wants the shack to work well. I think it's been a fantastic success, it sounds like, and, that's great for you guys. And, it's a neighborhood. And our thing is that there's been a lot of testimony tonight about the boatyard and how it's the only boatyard that doesn't have a restaurant. It's the only boatyard that's in the middle of a little family neighborhood. There are no other commercial enterprises in that neighborhood. So to compare Dutch Harbor to other marinas, yes, we're competing against them, but it's also a boatyard that's in the middle of the neighborhood, and it's a quiet neighborhood. So that's the difference that we'd like you to keep in mind.
Thank you. Would you like to address the issue only of the picnic tables?
Yeah, just some of the things he mentioned, yeah.
Well, I won't rebuttal, argue, but say you have a factual issue about picnic tables?
Yeah, the picnic tables he's referring to were there prior to the opening of the shack. To my knowledge, he was never going to request to move the picnic tables. The fence he's talking about isn't this high. I think it's about a 6-foot high fence.
No, it's about, I think, shoulder height.
I think it's about a 6-foot high fence.
Yeah, I mean,
You just replaced part of it because it was falling down. The
it's
other
not
parts.
6 feet high, because then you
It's
could
not a small fence. And in terms of, ruckus, we've also had complaints that Mr. Dunn uses the house, I don't know how many weeks this summer. Okay.
Let me ask you a question. Have you seen people drinking there?
No, the only time someone tried to bring liquor.
I can't hear.
The only time I'm aware of that someone tried to bring liquor on the property was when Carol Cronin, who tried to bring liquor to our employees, and we said, we do not allow liquor on site, please take it home. So that's all policy, we have zero policy.
Mr. Kennedy, I'm sorry, but
I know, now we open the door, so we have to let you respond.
I have one quick response to that, and that is that I did observe the operators of the shack last summer with beers at the tables. So,
Someone else like to be heard in opposition to this, sir?
I do. Craig American, 194 Narragansett Avenue. About a year ago, the neighbors first heard of this proposal and came to the planning meetings and zoning meetings, and we were quite concerned about it. We were concerned particularly about alcohol. And I think we were concerned about what the ICOR's ultimate plans were at the marina down there. the proposal, I think originally suggested longer hours. I think they saw the opposition. They trimmed the hours back to what they presently are, to what was approved. And at that point, many of us who had stood opposed to it stood up and said, it seems like a fairly benign proposal. We no longer object to it. At that time, it was billed as a lunchroom. However, not all my neighbors felt that way. One of them in particular, I recall, said it was the nose of the camel under the tent, and if it's not successful, they'll need to expand it. And if it is successful, they'll want to expand it. Here we are a year later, looking at an expansion. And, they can say all they want about, this is all we want, but that's what they said last year as well. This is all we want. And I'm not opposed to the extension of cleaning and delivery hours because, the business has to operate. But to say that we have to stay open later to service customers, I wish the hardware store would stay open later on Sundays to service me as a customer, because I can't go down there in the afternoon and buy something when I'm working on my house on the weekend. So I don't really see that as a critical issue here. All businesses have hours, and their customers have to work with them. So I'm opposed to any expansion of the service hours down there.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am, come forward, please.
Testimony about to give a favor truth and motion to that effect, truth. Say your name, please.
Sabrina Florida, Pierce Avenue. CLOHBRTY.
Thank you.
Board members, I'm testifying in opposition to this proposal. I want to ask a question because it was reported to me that the two owners also own a similar restaurant in Newport, services the boating community. And I'd like that to be confirmed.
I can answer. That restaurant was closed a year ago.
A year ago.
Yeah.
Having had that experience, thank you, Monica. Having had that experience, the two young men now, the younger men now are operating a facility here in Jamestown, have had experience. So therefore, they would know what the problems were that they would encounter. So in a sense, they have, with accepting the reduced hours of operation, they've purchased a hardship. And now they're coming back and asking the zoning board to relieve the hardship that they initially got involved with. I don't see that the neighborhood should have to accept or help them out of the hardship that they got themselves into. I certainly do oppose extending the hours. In addition, I think Mr. Liberati mentioned that he was quoting from a proposal that the town should support commerce on the island, that support businesses. Well, there are a number of other businesses that provide food after 6 o'clock, less than a half a mile away from the West Ferry. It'll take the boaters 15 minutes to amble down to any of the number of businesses that serve food, fresh quality food, and it would probably do them good to walk 15 minutes and to walk back if their pets. So I don't see why a mainly residential neighborhood, even though it does have that small component of commercial zoning, should have to absorb additional commercial use that would probably be detrimental when my grandchildren are going down to go fishing in the early evening, or other people are using it in a pedestrian fashion. I don't think we need to support it. I am going to give this, I have a copy of the letter that a friend gave to me that was prepared by Ms. Cronin, but I've called my other family members